Wow, it's a real party in here. Hey, everybody, happy Monday. It's so nice to see so many people right away at the start of the stream. We're going to have a good time. Thank you very much to Danny and also to, I'm going back here, Art Lover. Oh, I like your picture. And Danny, you're always a wonderful member of the BCT community. Thank you both for gifting a membership. And on that note, it's time for me to gift a membership at the beginning of every week. Oh, wait, this graphic's not supposed to be up. Darn it! Hold on. That's for later. All right, so thank you, Popcorn Roulette. All right, so let me gift 5 memberships. Today's a subscriber stream, though. Writer Boy, thank you. Oh, wow, look at this. Thank you so much. Thanks. Thank you, Not Modern Painter. Thank you, Tomas. Here we go. I'm gifting my 5 memberships. But today, anyone who is a subscriber can chat. And it's not one of those situations where you have to be a subscriber for 5 minutes or anybody like that or anything like that. As soon as you hit the subscribe button, come on in. The water's fine. So there we go. 5 memberships from moi. So we're gonna have a fun time today. So just to give you a little bit. Oh yes, just to remind you. That's right. Go Steelers, Steve. Steve and I agree. You know, the other day I was like, who would watch football and the Golden Globes back to back? But I think after the stream, a little, you know, when I get the chance, I'm going to turn on the end of the Steelers game. Not only because I'm rooting for the Steelers. Yes, of course, Yapdem. Happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day. It's a holiday here in the United States. Very important one. School and work is off for the most part. Although I hope maybe that means more of you are able to participate today. Thank you, Clarice Bell. I love your smile. You look great. But also, I want to see the Bills Stadium, which is apparently under tons of snow, which I find hilarious. So I'm going to watch that, and then I'm going to go right into the Emmys. Me too. I'm like, that does sound good. So I'm going to be live tweeting the Emmys this evening, so I hope you'll join me. And then on tomorrow's stream, I'll be doing like a very in-depth breakdown of the Emmys. But we're going to do a little bit tiny of a breakdown of the Critics' Choice Awards today. I'm not going to stop saying Steelers, Art Lover. Steelers Nation. Woo! Pretend I have a terrible towel. Woohoo, baby. All right, Rudolph. It's very close to Randolph. I love that guy. I love the whole team. All right, so Sean, just to remind you, so quick reminders. David, you don't know what, David, are you being, the Steelers are a football team here in the United States. Hey, Ramanzilla, thank you for gifting some memberships. They are in the wild card match. They have a very tiny chance at going to the Super Bowl. They're from Pittsburgh. Anna, your family's from Pittsburgh too? So even though I live in New York City, my mother's family is from Pittsburgh. So I have a deep allegiance to Pittsburgh, which is a great sports town. They've got the Pittsburgh Steelers and then the Penguins and the Pirates. And I've been to Pittsburgh many a time and seen the games there. I've been to a Pirates game, which is a baseball game, and they have people dressed up as giant pierogies running the bases, which is hilarious. And then I've been to a fantastic, I got to go to a really great Steelers game last year and see one of Tom Brady's final games. He wasn't doing a very good job that day, but that's kind of like how his whole final season went. All right, so anyway, the way today's stream is going to work, and so I'm rooting for them. I'd like to see them in the Super Bowl, although my family's like, how can we go to the Super Bowl if the Steelers get into it? But then I'm like, how am I going to cover the trailers? You know, let's just see what happens. Let's see if the Steelers even get into the Super Bowl and then try and cross that bridge when we get to it. But I don't know. It seems insurmountable to be able to go to a Super Bowl. Although I have some family members who went to a Super Bowl like a year or two ago. I think it was last year. And I feel bad I didn't get to go. But you know, it's always tough for me because obviously I want to cover all the trailers. All right. So anyway, the way that the streams work is that please, you know, and also today is, again, as I said, a subscriber stream. So there are a lot more people in the chat loving it. So try to keep your comments and questions to the story at hand. And I really won't be able to notice your questions or certainly answer them. I mean, I might, you know, you can try it. But, you know, at the end of each story, I will then direct the questions and comments to you. And we'll go over things that pertain to that story. And then at the end of the stream, you can ask me anything that you'd like for the final 10 minutes of the stream. So that's where you should save your other comments. All right, here we go. All right. And again, thank you for everybody who gifts a membership. It's not only helpful to me and the channel, but it allows somebody else to benefit as well. If you would like to be gifted a subscription, just make sure you turn on that you're willing to receive gifts in your profile on YouTube. And then the people who interact with the channel the most, subscribing, liking, so hey, why not start today with this video? Comments, who are a member in the past, that's how YouTube decides who would most like a gifted membership. All right, here we go. All right, so again, and please be sure to join me this evening for the Emmys, which I will be live tweeting. All right. The Emmys were surprisingly good last year. All right, story number 1. Here you go, hold on. Boop. Oh, Tom Cruise. So this, the Top Gun 3 was, obviously we all knew Top Gun 3 was happening. Here's the thing, if a movie makes $1 billion, they're probably gonna make a sequel. Happened with Joker, and it's probably gonna happen with Barbie, because you just can't turn away from that much money. Thanks, C-Class. So they gotta do it. So it leaked. I think Puck News broke the story. They were like, they're making Top Gun 3. And then within hours, they were like, oh yeah, Joseph Kosinski, the director, let me bring him up, hold on. There he is, he's the guy in the black suit. So the guy in the black suit is Joseph Kosinski, and he's gonna return to direct the film. However, this is all not worth our time if Christopher McQuarrie, the guy in the beige tan suit on the end, who does all the Mission Impossible movies, if he doesn't come on and help with the script again. Because he helped with the script for the first film. I'm sure he tacked on that crazy ending where when it started during the movie, you were like, are we really doing this? And they were like, we are doing it. And you're like, this is nuts. But left to his own devices, Joseph Kosinski directed Tron and Oblivion. Also, very cool visual films, but their scripts were awful. Awful! So you got, oh yeah, of course, there's Bruckheimer. There's Jerry Bruckheimer. He's still around, but much quieter these days. There he is in the gray suit. So if you want to know who those individuals are, if you're interested in the movie business, and especially if you're interested in working in the movie business, it's best to know the people who might employ you. So that's Christopher McQuarrie in the tan suit at the end. There's Tom Cruise. So tiny, although it looks like Bruckheimer is shorter. So he's like, ha ha. Kosinski, there in the black. And then there's Bruckheimer there at the end there. There's Bruckheimer. Jerry Bruckheimer. And the two people on both sides of Tom Cruise are basically Tom Cruise's team. He just alternates between the two of them making movies. He goes, Kosinski, McQuarrie. That's right. They do want to make who just said that? Dwight Baldwin said, I'd rather see a sequel to Kill, Die, Repeat, otherwise known as The Edge of Tomorrow. They do want to do that, but it's very far away. Which leads me to my next point. When the heck is Tom Cruise going to make a movie for Warner Brothers? Because he's already got another Mission Impossible that he's working on, and then he's going to go make Top Gun 3. So that's like, I think it really is just like to get him on the lot. And then also maybe it's to push the merger, I was thinking. Maybe they're like, we've already sewed up one of your top key talent. Let's just make this marriage official, right? It's like Tom Cruise is the baby and it's a shotgun marriage. But I think Paramount would be fine with co-parenting. They're like, we don't need to get married. We can split Tom for the holidays. But yeah, so let's see. Now, what's very interesting here, let's talk a little bit about this project coming together. Thanks for staying up, Matt Have. It's 3 a.m. in India, but I'm glad you're here. Oh yeah, that space movie. That's right, Popcorn Roulette, where Tom Cruise is actually going to go into space. That's nuts. I'd like to shake the hand of whoever's insuring that movie and say, boy, you must have a fun story. Although, how could you tell Tom Cruise he can't walk in space? He also has a history, by the way, of firing whoever tells him he can't do something. That's a funny story I've heard. I told you I know some people who know Tom Cruise, and one of his favorite stories is, I think he told it on a late night talk show too, where he's like, the stunt manager said I couldn't do it. So then I asked the new stunt manager, and he's like, ha-ha. And I'm like, that other stunt manager was just trying to protect your life, Tom. All right, so now obviously for another Top Gun Maverick, how could we... Oh, that's right, Lisa. Maybe it was Matt Damon telling the story. That's funny. So what happens is, okay, is that, so the thing is that how do you make a Top Gun 3 work? What's it going to be called? Maverick Returns? Top Gun? What? I'm interested. I thought the second, okay, so this is my journey with Top Gun, and I'll do a poll. I know you guys love the polls, all right? So hold on. How do you feel about Top Gun 3? Bring it on. 2 was enough. 1 second. 1 was enough. And then don't care for Top Gun. All right. So there's the poll. Anyone can vote in a poll. I mean, technically anybody could chat today. If you wanted to chat, all you got to do is click the subscribe button. But if for some reason you don't want to do that, you can still vote in the poll. All right. So, well, if you guys are voting in the poll, let me tell you my Top Gun journey. So I don't like the first Top Gun. I tried to watch it several times, and I'm like, this movie sucks. But the second the second movie, Top Gun Maverick, I was like on the edge of my seat. I was like, this movie's incredible. And I loved the nostalgia feels. And I also loved, it's like, in South Park, the movie, Team America World Police, where they're like, America, F yeah. I felt that Top Gun Maverick was the movie version, like the live action movie version of that. Like when you watched it, you were like, America, F yeah. Like when they had like the fighter jets going and you were like, and they were doing like the suppressive fire and you were like, this is incredible. I love it so much. So it was just a great time. Even the opening sequence when they have like that kind of 80s music and like the heat from the sun is like radiating and you're like, wow, they recreated that awesome feel. So if they can do that again, and they usually seem to be bringing on the same creatives, then I'm like, that's awesome. So I think obviously another thing that made the second movie so cool, and maybe the first one, was that the United States military loves to participate in these kinds of films because they see them as recruiting tools. They're like, hey, did you like Top Gun Maverick? That could be you. And you're like, including the danger? And they're like, yeah. But, obviously, I think it's a very honorable and, our thanks, of course, to anybody who's in the United States military. But so that's why the United States military loves Hollywood when, it's a pro-military film. And if you make a pro-military film, you will get tremendous support from the United States, whatever branch of the armed forces you are featuring. So they'll get you real fighter jets, you'll get a real destroyer, and they will, you will get to have amazing footage. So that could be really cool. Now, another reason that the movie did so well, the second movie, was that it not only had the nostalgia, everybody liked Top Gun Maverick, but for different reasons. I think everyone liked it for the nostalgia factor. And then I think conservatives, as you might recall at the time, really rallied around it. There was no political message in the film. It was very, as I said, very pro-America. It did, I didn't look at the box office gross. Let me bring it up. I want to see what the split was. Hold on. By the way, speaking of Box Office Mojo, yesterday for hours, they did not include Mean Girls in their top 10 and had The Beekeepers #1. And I had to have a number of people be like, Mean Girls isn't even in the top 10, Grace. And I'm like, Box Office Mojo has a serious flaw in their top 10. So that was incredible. All right, so it's a 50-50 split. Here's the box office. Hold on, there it is. That's really good, though. Look at that, 718 million domestic. Oh my God, that's so much money. Okay, and then 776 million overseas. Oh, wow. All right, I just get so happy. Even you're like, wow, we got to do it. Ella, that's a great title. Top Gun, Guns Out. That's hilarious. They can't go with that, but I think that's very funny. So yeah, so it's basically a 50-50 split. But I have to, by the way, one of the things that I really liked about the conversation about Top Gun Maverick, and I'm glad this wasn't in my notes, but I was tweeting about it a lot at the time. And that's that when Top Gun Maverick came out, I liked, What Shall I Do For You just said Top Gun International, calling it. I honestly think that would be a great idea. Because when Top Gun Maverick came out, everybody was highlighting their own Air Force. And many, many countries across the globe have incredible air forces. And I loved retweeting pictures of them when the movie was out. Everywhere, like literally so many countries. And it was so exciting to see their fighter pilots. And so I would love to highlight, different, air forces across the globe. And not just from, all right, help me out here. What's the name of the Western Alliance? NATO? Yeah, NATO. NATO. So, a lot of times Hollywood only, I like World Tour too, Will Sanderson. These are good titles. But I feel like, usually Hollywood only highlights NATO. But I feel like, particularly like Japan, I saw the Philippines. I saw a lot, some great air forces in the Middle East. I would love to see those air forces highlighted as well. I think that could be really cool. Japan, I mean, let's kiss and make up with Japan. They're an ally right now, and so I think it's a really, really cool idea. So I would love. I would hope that would not hurt it with conservative audiences, but I would just think that would be because remember, one of the things where Top Gun really thrives is that they have a faceless enemy. Remember, they never call out an enemy nation. It's always like a nondescript villain, and they always wear all black, right? And they're like, and you can't see their faces. They're literally a faceless enemy. So I think it should just be the world's enemy. So I think it's a great idea. I would love that so much. But I think they have to be very careful, obviously. You want to get just the right balance right. But I'd really like to see it. Lisa, that's pretty funny. Top Gun retirement. Tom Cruise is like, never. Although some of you pointed out the LGBT community supported the film as well. Yeah, they had a lot of people running around in the sand playing volleyball. Or this time it was touch football. And so everybody's like, I would like to play touch football with all of you. So I think that, of course, obviously is very important. Eric, it's a subscribers chat today. So let me close the poll. So 34% of you don't care for 36% of you say bring it on, okay? But right behind it, 34% of you don't even care for the movie made $1 billion, so that's interesting. So 36% only are definitely in favor of this. That's interesting. 34% don't even like Top Gun at all. 24% say two was enough, and only 4% say one was enough. You guys harshed my Top Gun enthusiasm. But I'm excited about it. AD, I think the whole point of it was that it would not be political. I think that the whole point of an international Top Gun would be more like Small World at Disney World, where everybody just got along. And I think everybody loves It's a Small World. Nobody's ever managed to politicize It's a Small World. So I think that's pretty neat. Now, another thing that I want to talk about is that they also pointed out that Miles Teller and Glenn Powell would be returning. And somewhere, Nicholas Hoult was like, gosh darn it, that could have been me. Nicholas Hoult was supposed to, I believe, have the Rooster, Miles Teller role. I think it was him. But one of these two roles Nicholas Hoult was supposed to have. And he couldn't do it because of scheduling conflicts. And so, what a bummer. I'm really happy for Miles Teller. Like, he finally has gotten something. I mean, I told you, at the beginning of his career, Miles Teller would stick every limb that he could in his mouth. It was incredible. But yet the guy's so damn likable, you were like, I don't care. I still love him. We love you too, Greg Anthony. And then Glenn Powell, of course, everybody really likes Glenn Powell. And so maybe this time, he became nicer towards the end of the movie. So maybe he'd become nicer again. That's right. There's also the Twisters trailer, Ben Green, maybe at the Super Bowl. We don't know what the Super Bowl trailers are just yet. All right, then, though, I would say don't underestimate the importance of the diverse cast. I would say, in particular, two individuals. Charles Purnell, who played one of the commanding officers. And then I liked this guy, Bashir Salahuddin, who was one of the people on, like, Tom Cruise's team. Who was always working with him with the top secret flight at the beginning and then again later on the actual destroyer. So I think both these guys are fabulous, and I think it would be important. I think it would be a mistake. I think a lot of these people need to be brought back. Now, I'm seeing a lot of you say, what about Kelly McGillis? Well, Kelly McGillis, I think, I would like to see her come back, but I feel like Kelly McGillis has made a really strong choice to leave Hollywood, and I don't want to force Kelly McGillis to be in this movie. I think she spoke out a little bit about not being invited, And I know that I don't know, I think Tom Cruise, one of the things that I liked about Top Gun Maverick was that it embraced that Tom Cruise was getting older, but like they made it in a cool way, which I thought was really nice. Like they didn't make it a negative, but they still acknowledged it. Because, up until now, Tom Cruise has very much had like a Peter Pan complex. But I think at this point, you're like, come on, Tom Cruise, we can all see you. But that doesn't mean you have to close up shop, but it's just a new chapter in your life. And I think that the movie highlighted that extraordinarily well, which again, also, the movie is very good from a generation perspective. It has broad appeal generationally as well, which is great about it. So I found a Kelly McGillis replacement. Here we go. You ready? Meg Ryan. I would really like to see Meg Ryan brought back. She's not retired. She just directed a movie, a romantic comedy that nobody saw, but who cares? I think she looked fine in it. Yap, Dem, don't say no to this. And then, so many of you don't want, you guys, come on. Did she die? Did her character die? Did her character die? They were talking about his mom a whole lot. Oh, darn it. They I guess he made his mom a promise before she died. Poop. And this isn't a comic book movie, so we can't bring her back. Well, then I guess Kelly McGillis it is. All right, I'd be like, all right. I told you I don't like the first movie. That is hurt the critics' choice. I'd be like, all right, Kelly McGillis. Because I think Val Kilmer coming back was a big part of the first one. So I'm like, you got to come back, Kelly McGillis. I would say, like, you just got to do it. And if Tom Cruise had any issues with it, I'd tell him to suck it up. I'd be like, I need another person from the first movie, so you're going to have to do it. All right. So does anybody have any questions or comments about this before we move to the Critic's Choice? Why is everybody talking about Lena Dunham? Did something happen to Lena Dunham? I don't think so. That would be trending a lot higher, I think, if it did. You guys trolling me. Yeah, nothing happened to Lena Dunham. All right. Let's see here. Any other questions or comments about this? And then I'll go to the next story. That's funny, Ricardo. How about Rebecca Ferguson? Although, right, that's right, Olivia Allen. Maybe Meg Ryan's character had a twin. All right, you guys are all trying to fast forward. All right. I see you. All right, let me go to the next story. Here we go. All right, you ready? Boop. Oh, all right, we're going to talk about the Critics' Choice Awards. These were last night. Again, I'll be live tweeting the Emmys this evening, which start at 8 o'clock. They're airing on Fox. Anthony Anderson is the host because he's actually hosting a new reality or competition show on Fox. So I guess that's like free advertising for it. So I think it's going to be, I'm curious to see for the Emmys tonight if it's just going to be the same shows, if it's going to be Succession, The Bear, and Beef, because, they're sweeping. They're sweeping. Now, as for movie sweeps, we've completed the press. The Golden Globes are like all of the journalists, in Hollywood. They've expanded that membership, so it's very much the press. And then last night was the critics, like myself included. I'm a Critics' Choice member. So that was what the Critics' Choice Awards were. So I think still no overlap with the Academy votership. So there could be some surprises still, but I think you're definitely seeing some talent and projects gaining real momentum. Now let's first talk about the biggest moments in the show, in the telecast. Ryan Gosling had a wonderful reaction, or a hilarious reaction, when I'm Just Ken had an upset win for Best Song. I was thrilled. And he acted like, he was ready. He was ready to go. What a professional, with his shocked face. And it was shocking that he beat out Billie Eilish. Of course, it was Friendly Fire from the same movie. But I think that was great that it won. And I think it's great that they showed him. Some people said he should have gone up. I think he should have as well. I think that the whole point of that song winning was because the musical number was so strong, which of course was him. I think, and that's the reason I think I voted for it. I think it's the best song. And so I'm really thrilled that it won. I think that it was just the perfect marriage of an actual song and the sequence in the film. Usually when songs are in movies, for the most part, unless it's animation, they're just played over the action. Or in the case of the Billie Eilish number, a montage, which is beautiful, I guess. But I think just nothing hit like the I'm Just Ken song, in my opinion. It was incredible. Then Ariana DeBose. This was a huge black eye for the telecast, and it was hugely embarrassing for the writers because they made a joke about real singers versus actors who thought they could sing, and they actually they put Ariana DeBose into the actors who thought they could sing category, which is, of course, hugely disrespectful because she, of course, has a musical theater background. So that was shocking. And so it was just like Taylor Swift being upset at the Golden Globes. Ariana DeBose delivered a new meme as well. I think she's just like, I'm tired of this shit. You know, I mean, like, she hosted one of the award shows like a few years ago. Remember, Angela Bassett did the thing, and everybody was, joking about that. So I think Ariana DeBose has just had enough of this already. So I hope that she has something good coming up for her. Then America Ferrera gave a very moving and beautiful acceptance speech for the See Her Award, which was started in 2017 to highlight women in particular who offer representation in the entertainment business. I think it's wonderful that they started off with that. But I think that what they should do is now it would be nice to have a See Him Award. Or just a See Them Award and open up the category to both men and women. I think that there's a lot of important representation to be done. I think her speech highlighted why that was the case. And I thought it was really nice that she thanked the Kens as well. I thought that was really lovely that because she said, these moments happen because of support from within the community from others. And so I thought that was great. So very, very, so some of you think you should keep it See Her. I don't know. I feel like, I think that representation should be more about focusing on inclusivity instead of, putting up walls. But that's obviously I would want to hear how the talent of color and the other, I mean, I'm a woman, but I think that obviously there are other groups that need even more representation. So I think I would probably want to have like a discussion about it. But I think I think that's something I'd certainly, suggest. I wouldn't insist on it, but I'd be like, I think it would be cool, brother Quantum, you solved it. See Us. That's the name of the award. See Us is beautiful. That has like a cool, aggressive thing to it. I like that. I like that a lot. I can't put a poll on that. I mean, I think that's not that's not good. But I mean, we had a nice little discussion here. We workshopped it, and I got to tell you, I really like the See Us. I like the See Us idea. Michael, are the Steelers really 2 touchdowns behind already? The game's only been on for half an hour. Oh my God. All right. Well, then I guess I don't have to worry about missing the Super Bowl. All right. So let's go through the wins. All right, hold on. I got graphics. I've got graphics, everybody. Here we go. All right, so first let's start off with the scorecard for the night. So Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer has such momentum. We'll go through the individual awards in a moment. So let's just do this quickly. Oppenheimer won 8, but Barbie won 6. So Barbenheimer lives. Woohoo! Although I feel bad that Margot Robbie stopped wearing Barbie outfits. The Golden Globes killed her joy. I wish that she had just kept doing it. I think she was worried that it was causing people not to take her seriously, and so they felt that would hurt her for the Oscar vote for nominations and then eventually wins. I hope she comes back in a Barbie dress for the Oscars. F everybody, man. Wear your Barbie outfits. I just thought that was sad that she just stopped doing that. And especially because her other outfit choices are so bad. I'm like, why? Why can't you have a happy medium? Although I didn't like anybody's outfits. I mean, I'm sure that someone will find one that I liked, but from a quick scan of the dresses last night, I was like, yikes. Why is everybody dressing so poorly? But I just felt bad that they killed that joy that she had. All right, so the holdovers with 3, and then everybody else there you can see just got 1. And then TV show, The Bear, Beef, and Succession. They're just killing it. All you can see, Bear and Beef have more than Succession, which is crazy. Crazy. All right. Now let's go into the individual wins. All right, hold on. I got to make it a little bigger so we can read it. All right, here we go. All right, so movies. Each section I have, so now you can see it. All right, do I still have the arrow? Huzzah, I do. Ha-ha. Now you can see where I am. All right, Best Picture. Oppenheimer. It's going to win Best Picture at the Oscars. It's pretty much a done deal. I mean, you could have a La La Land Moonlight situation where everybody's like, what the what? But it's going to be Oppenheimer. I've made my peace with it. I'm even starting to be okay with it. It certainly is a very well-made film. Even though I don't agree with a lot of the creative choices that were made intellectually, I can see that it was a good film. So that would not be a win that would bother me. You know, not like La La Land where I was like, what trite crap. But I think that, Lloyd says, will poor things cause an upset? I don't think it will. I think it's going to be Oppenheimer, almost for sure. All right. Christopher Nolan, Best Director. Ooh, it seems to be his year, at least with the press. You know who's going to win Best Director? Whoever wins the Directors Guild Award, probably. So that's the Guild Award you should pay attention to. But Christopher Nolan certainly is going to have a very nice trophy shelf no matter what happens at the Oscars. But it seems to be his year. I don't know. I got to tell you, I've been floating out that Christopher Nolan's a bit of an asshole for a while now. And I think he finally did 2 things that I was like, he kind of proved it. First off, I thought he was kind of an asshole for almost getting that Peloton instructor fired because he was upset that she said she didn't like Tenet. And then they said, hey, Christopher Nolan, are you going to continue to... And she apologized because she didn't know he was in her class. And they said, hey, Christopher Nolan, are you going to continue to take classes with Peloton? And he said, no, I don't want to. I've decided not to get on the bike for a while. And I'm like, don't get that poor lady fired, man. I mean, there are other instructors. Can't you just say, like, it's all good? I mean, like, why do you have to make it, like, such a negative? And I thought, particularly because it was a woman, I was like, I also heard that apparently, like, the writer-director of Anatomy of a Fall said something bad about the French prime minister. And so his friend, apparently, the scandalous, kept it from being nominated for an Oscar. And so I'm like, why is this always happening to women? All right? Spoofaman says, wasn't that just a joke? I don't know if it was a joke, but then he should have clarified, I'm joking. I will, of course, be coming back. And then I saw that apparently when Cillian Murphy didn't win Best Actor, which we'll discuss in a moment, Christopher Nolan raced to his side to make sure that he was okay. I'm like, I've never seen a more chill person than Cillian Murphy. I'm sure he's fine. And like, why do you have to undercut Paul Giamatti like that? Like, Cillian Murphy's a big boy. He understands that not everybody's going to be able to win. It's not like poor Angela Bassett, it's like, come on, man. So, you know what? I respect Christopher Nolan. I feel Christopher Nolan is doing great things for the industry, and I think he's incredibly talented, even though he can't write women to save his life. But that's okay. That's all right. That's right. He put the ridiculous nudity in the movie instead. That's right, Emily Jackson. But I think he's not maybe the nicest guy. All right. Rant over. All right. Then Best Actor. Paul Giamatti. It was a little surprising that it wasn't Cillian Murphy. Now, I'm not saying Christopher Nolan couldn't I'm not saying Christopher Nolan couldn't make a face at Murphy across the table or be like, wow, that was surprising, right? Or talk to him about it later, because it was surprising. But let's not pretend that Paul Giamatti is not an acting legend. I didn't even like him in The Holdovers that much. I was like, this isn't anything I've never seen before. I also thought they really doubled down on all of his problems. Like, it was bad enough that he had the lazy eye and he didn't have any social skills and he was bitter and sad. But then when they said that he smelled like fish all the time, I was like, first of all, I'd never heard of that as a problem. I was like, wow, I think that was something that happened to people. I would have heard about it. And then I was like, that's just such horribly bad luck. I don't even know what to say to you. And then I was like, hey, man, if it's not so bad in the morning, why don't you take several showers during the day? Like, don't give up, man. Take showers 3 times a day. You know, a lot of people take multiple showers during the day. Like if they're on a sports team, there's nothing wrong with that. Like I wish somebody had said that to him. And just, so that distracted me a lot during the movie. I was like, you have the worst luck I've ever seen. You have a lazy eye and you smell like fish all day, in the evening in particular, which is date time. I felt bad for him. All right, and then I was like, and then it kind of frustrated me that nobody was trying to help him with that. But it was, you know, it was like good, it was still, it's still a good movie. But Paul Giamatti is an acting legend. It's his time. This is turning into a His Time Award, where everyone in the industry goes, it's time to give Paul Giamatti his due. Also, I think him going to In-N-Out Burger really helped him. You know, I mean, he was joking about how next time he'll stay in the car, but I think it helped him tremendously. And also, I saw pictures of him posing in front of In-N-Out Burger. So I'm like, you kind of were leaning into it at the end there, Paul. And, you know, but I think there's a very good chance. Well, let's see what happens. But I think Paul Giamatti is pulling ahead. And I don't hate it. Again, don't love it for the movie that he got it for, but I do think Paul Giamatti is an incredible actor. All right, then, Emma Stone for actress. You know, all right, I've ranted enough about Poor Things. And everybody loves Emma Stone. Emma Stone, besides this one time, is really a wonderful actress. She's such a kind person. Everyone in the industry loves her. So, you know, it's fine. And, you know, I think this is going to be Poor Things' award. However, I will say this. She already has Best Actress awards, you know, for La La Land. So I think that there are other actresses that it would be better to give them this opportunity. Like Hawaiian Pizza Lover just said, what about Lily Gladstone? Or in my opinion, what about Greta Lee? I think there are other actresses that I would like to see take this. So, and especially because, as I said, Emma Stone already has this award. So I would, you know, also, that's right, Rashad, Fantasia from The Color Purple. I mean, I don't think she's going to win because that film has lost a lot of its momentum. But, you know, I'd rather see it go to Lily Gladstone or Greta Lee, to be honest with you. Or Sandra Huller. That's right. Casual bitch. I'll say it, even though you've censored it. I love that. And oh, look, you have, I'm blanking on the name from Hairspray. Divine. You have Divine. I think that's your avatar, right? But that's right. Sandra Huller. I just watched Anatomy of a Fall last night. I had a friend who hated Anatomy of a Fall, so I was avoiding it. And then when it won all these awards, won another award, and it was doing so well on the iTunes playlist, I was like, fine, I want to watch something current. I'll check it out. Loved it. Although I think there are a little too many movies about gender this year. Barbie, Poor Things, and Anatomy of a Fall all kind of cover the same stuff. Because I think Anatomy of a Fall is very subtle, but boy, is that a movie about gender politics and marriage like I've never seen. I thought it was incredible. I don't want to give anything away, but I knew what the verdict would be as soon as I figured out who the heck the jury was. Why in French court do they hide the jury? I was like, where is the jury? Mixed in with the judge? This is ridiculous. All right, but once I figured out who the jury was made up of, I was like, I know the way this is going. All right, Robert Downey Jr., another It's Time award. I'll tell you, quite frankly, that I think that he was horrible in this movie. I think it's some of the worst acting I've ever seen from Robert Downey Jr. I know some of you like it, but I think it's just awful. Awful, awful, awful. And I thought it was a really unsophisticated take on the political game, which I'm not at all surprised came from Christopher Nolan, because Christopher Nolan hates the political game. But I actually love the political game. I love the dance. And I wish that someone who had a little bit more understanding of it had depicted it. This was very much told from the perspective of someone like Oppenheimer. Maybe that's why Nolan was drawn to the material. He himself is an Oppenheimer. I'm not an Oppenheimer. I am a Matt Damon character in the movie. You know, I understand the machine. And, you know, I think that that's why one of the things that frustrated me about the movie, particularly when Oppenheimer was like, oh, I wish I was in the room. And then when he got in the room with Truman, he gave the whole room a giant middle finger and then got kicked out of the room. Like Truman, Robert Downey Jr.'s character, these characters were the people who were really popular and important. Not popular, but they were the ones who were important for Oppenheimer to be able to accomplish what he wanted to. So I don't understand why he kept smacking him in the face. All right, but yeah, I love Robert Downey Jr. I love Robert Downey Jr. So if you want to give him awards, I ain't going to complain about it. All right? But I do feel bad for Charles Melton and Ryan Gosling. I hope they enjoy all the free dinners and the red carpets, because they ain't getting an award. The only whatever SAG does will be the final nail in the coffin, or a glimmer of hope. Although I don't think, Charles Melton wasn't even nominated for a SAG. Charles Melton ain't winning. That's so sad. Poor Charles Melton. All right. I think it's hard when you were coming from Riverdale, perhaps, at the end of the day. All right. Divine Joy Randolph. Fellow Randolph. She's winning. I said it already when she won at the Golden Globes. She's going to win every single award. And I'm fine with that. I really liked her performance. I think Danielle Brooks was a little bit better. But The Color Purple, I really feel bad about it. It's just not, I mean, at least it's getting the nomination. At least Danielle Brooks is getting the nominations. That will help her. But this film just is, it's just not connecting, which is too bad. But Divine Joy Randolph is going to win all the awards. So I hope she has a nice big trophy. She probably doesn't want to jinx it. She can just keep them anywhere for now, but she's probably going to be able to buy a really nice trophy case. Then I voted for him. I voted for some of these. Dominic Sessa. He won the Best Young Actor Award. Everybody says he looks like he actually came from the 70s, and I would agree with that. It's hilarious. But I thought he was great. I thought he was wonderful. I'm very happy that he won. I think he will continue to work. Then this was sad. Best Acting Ensemble. Again for Oppenheimer. Like, why? Well, I mean, this is why it's important to spread the love. I certainly tried to, when I was voting. I think it's crazy to give Oppenheimer this. And, by the way, the real Oppenheimer project had, I think, some diversity, which, of course, Nolan didn't include. So I believe I read that. And of course, I'm still upset didn't include the Japanese perspective at all. Kind of annoys me. But anyway, I think there were some other, I think that to me, Oppenheimer was all about Cillian Murphy, which is why I actually voted for Cillian Murphy for Best Actor. But I feel like Color Purple, who are the other nominees? I didn't want to have too long a list here, but let me get the other nominees up because, so for Best Ensemble, let me go find it. Here we go. Air, Barbie, The Color Purple, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, and then Oppenheimer. I would have given it to The Color Purple, which is who I voted for. And the fact that The Color Purple didn't win that, it shows how much trouble they're having this award season. All right, then Barbie, Best Comedy. It keeps getting all the popular People's Choice style awards, Like, it's so lame. But again, we'll take it. We'll take it. But yeah, I agree with you, Rashad. I feel it's extremely disrespectful, but whatever. All right, then, although this made up for it. Best Original Screenplay. Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach for Barbie. I don't know, I hope they get nominated. The Academy stuck them over in Adapted, which is going to be a tougher category, but I hope that they win Best Screenplay. It was an incredible screenplay. Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach are known particularly for their writing. They have an edge there. They've been accepted already there. They're not trying to break any new ground, which, it's so political. But again, I'm not going to pull a Nolan about it. I understand the game, but I feel this is fair to give them Best Screenplay. So this is incredible. I'm so happy that Barbie won, and I think it's incredibly deserved. All right, then, Best Adapted Screenplay. American Fiction got something. Woohoo! Corey Jefferson. I'm so happy. I voted for him in this category as well. I think, he obviously has been also trying to compete in director, which, he's never going to win that this year. It's just too competitive. But I think he wrote a great script, and I'm very happy, and I'm excited to see what he does next. All right, let me move this picture up a little bit here. Let me move this down so I can see what I'm working on. All right, hold on. All right. Then, Best Song. I'm Just Ken. Haha. This sure offended a lot of people last night on Twitter. I don't care. I think it's totally deserved. As I said, it's the perfect marriage of song and the film itself, with a musical number that evokes the classic, musicals of the 1950s and 60s. And 40s. I just absolutely adored it. It also was an homage to Singing in the Rain. I just absolutely adored it. I just thought it was incredible, extremely powerful, and the song personally just speaks to me. So I'm so happy that it won. All right, then best score, Ludwig Göransson for Oppenheimer. And again, now that I hear the Oppenheimer score by itself, when they play it when everybody wins, I'm happy with this. I think it's awesome. All right, then best animated feature, Across the Spider-Verse. I think this is great. I'm really happy that it won. I think it's a fantastic movie. I think, part of me now is like, maybe we should give a shout out to Nimona or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because Spider-Verse, of course, is won previously. But it is just an incredible work of art, so I'm really happy that it won. Then Anatomy of a Fall, best foreign language film. Now that I've seen it, I totally agree. I think it's fantastic. I'm so glad that it won. Then I grouped these all together just to show how Oppenheimer and Barbie divided up. 3 for 3, actually, interestingly enough. That is fascinating. They divided up all the craft awards. So, by the way, Oppenheimer took best visual effects. There are so little visual effects in this film that it didn't even make the final cut to get nominated for an Oscar because the visual effects community didn't feel it deserved it. They didn't even deserve to qualify for a nomination, and yet the Critics' Choice Award gave it the win. That just goes to show you the difference between people outside of the film business, outside of the movie-making section voting, versus the people who actually make the movies and work in the field. So I think that's fascinating. Then also best editing and cinematography. And then for Barbie, where did it go? Barbie took home production design, costume design, and hair and makeup. I think you'll see them probably dividing up the craft awards at the Oscars as well. It's going to be truly a Barbenheimer year. If that'll help the ratings, let's see. If they're going to sing and perform I'm Just Ken at the Oscars, I think that would be something that would help them. I think that's going to be really crucial. Let's see. They don't think they've named a host yet for the Oscars. I kind of hope they go hostless or get John Mulaney. He had a wonderful audition at the Governor's Awards. I think it would be wonderful if he won, if he was hosting it. Oh, Jimmy Kimmel. Oh, yeah, is it Jimmy Kimmel? That's because he's the late night for ABC. Bummer. Kimmel. All right. All right, then let me move over to TV. All right, let me bring it up here. We'll go through this faster because it's pretty cut and dry. All right, television. Not at all a surprise. Succession won Best Drama. Best Comedy, The Bear. Best Limited Series, Beef. Then there was a little bit of a surprise. Did I mess this up? No. Okay. So in drama, it was Succession for the Best Actor and Best Actress. But for supporting, Billy Crudup did a little bit of a surprise here, which I thought was interesting. By the way, one of the most interesting things last night was that Kieran Culkin was on the red carpet for the Critics' Choice Awards, and I believe it was Bill Lawrence, who does Shrinking right now and I think he also works on Ted Lasso. And he came up to Kieran Culkin and said, we have to get you on one of our shows, one of our comedy shows. And Kieran Culkin was like, let's do it. And he said, it looks like I just got a job. So I thought that was really just a nice little sneak peek at or behind the scenes look at how Hollywood works. Then Elizabeth Debicki got Best Supporting for The Crown. Comedy was The Bear across the board, except Ibn Mas Barak. I was very happy. Or is it someone told it was like Burt Bacharach. But anyway, Mas Bacharach, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it, but I'm thrilled that he won. And then Meryl Streep for Only Murders, which, of course it's Meryl Streep. I voted for her too. Limited series, Beef took most of this, except for Jonathan Bailey for Fellow Travelers. So it was nice to see. I know a lot of you were fans of that. So it was nice to see that get some love. Maria Bello winning for Actress Limited was pretty shocking. I think I actually voted for her, though, because it was such a weak category. All right, then Quiz Lady. Of course, that one, I voted for it as well. I mean, it was the most obvious in that category. John Oliver, he won. Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. This, to me, was amazing that this won. What a night and day difference with He-Man. Scott Pilgrim in the new He-Man Masters of the Universe show did the exact same thing. Although the fandom for Masters of the Universe rejected it, yet the fandom for Scott Pilgrim embraced it. And I thought that was really interesting to show how fandom really makes a difference. Then Lupin for Best Foreign Language Series. I voted for this as well. And then I also voted for John Mulaney, who I was just talking about. Huzzah, John Mulaney. So happy for him. All right, does anybody have any questions or comments about this before we move on to the NFL story and then the Ask Me Anything portion of the stream? What's the Steelers score? Randy, a lot of my picks won. I would say maybe 60% of who I wanted to win won. Subasiso, Margot did wear a Barbie reference dress? When did Barbie ever wear a red dress like that? Radiant Rose Barbie gown. Let me look it up. I don't think it translated. Let's see here. Maybe she should. I don't think she can carry the Barbie because that would be embarrassing. This doesn't look anything like that. Let me get a comparison. All right, here's the comparison. And you can see that doesn't match at all. Let me get closer. Look at the lack of detailing. It doesn't go over the shoulder. It doesn't have the poof or the big rose in the front. I mean, that's just ridiculous. All of her other Barbie dresses have been excellent reproductions. It's still 14-0, the Steelers. I Love Flamingo says, how much do critics and Oscars overlap at the end? Well, as I said, these early shows give real momentum. So there is definitely some overlap. But we'll start to see, I think, potential surprises with the SAG Awards and the WG. When the guilds actually start to vote themselves, then you might see some upsets. The award season, the Oscars will very quickly come into focus once the guilds start to have their shows. Danny says, what are your thoughts about the color purple going digital so soon? I think it's already out of the top 10, as we discussed yesterday at the box office. I think it should go to digital. I hope it finally finds an audience. Alex, the WGA awards are after the Oscars? What kind of I guess because of the strike, but what kind of ridiculousness is that? Gregors says, who will win the Oscar for Best Actor now, Giamatti or Murphy? I think Murphy still has a chance, but as I said just a few moments ago, I think Giamatti really pulled ahead here. Bye, Harlequin Dove. All right, I think you're ready for the next story. Subasiso says, Grace, what snacks are you having for the Emmys? Well, I can't eat sugar. I'm back on my special diet. So I'm going to have turkey chili. I picked up some turkey chili today when I was out. All right, let's go here to the next story. Story number 3. Boom, baby. The NFL on Peacock only. Usually when they have any kind of live big event, award show, or sporting events, you can now watch it on the network or the corresponding streaming service, for those of you who've cut the cord. But this Saturday, Comcast said, we're going to see if we can maybe force people to subscribe to Peacock by making it only available on that streaming service. Doc Hayes, I love your emojis for Boom Baby. That's hilarious. You made my day. And it worked. It worked. Now, on Saturday itself, I just got a kick out of, hold on. I want this to, 1 second. Where is this supposed to be? There we go. I just got a kick out of everybody joking about the fact that they had to help their parents and grandparents sign up for Peacock. There were a lot of funny jokes on Twitter about that on Saturday. But everybody did. 27.6 million people watched the game. That's right, Rashad. There is a 7-day free trial, but you have to give them your credit card information to get that. And so the hope is that you forget to cancel the subscription, or then it'll be an instant renewal. That's how they hope to get you. But yes, 27.6 million people watched the game on Peacock on Saturday. It's a wild card game between the Dolphins and the Chiefs for a potential shot at the Super Bowl. Now, just to give you some perspective, the Golden Globes last Sunday, remember, had a little under 10 million people tune in. So this is 3 times that viewership that was brought in by the football game, which just goes to show you how popular football still is in America. And that also there's a generational holdout on streaming services that apparently a lot of people's parents and grandparents are still saying, no way am I going to cut the cord. But companies are finding a way now to force them. And so now that they've successfully been able to, they're going to continue, I think, to do that more. They're not going to do it like something with the Super Bowl or a championship NFL game. But I think Jordan says Canada doesn't get Peacock. Well, then I'm sure you had other options. But, maybe you soon will get Peacock. But I think that it's just, it's incredible. I think eventually you will get to a point where the Super Bowl, I think basically, again, it's just another sign that the network television is, it's the beginning of the end. We don't know how long that journey is going to take, but they are, winding it up for network television. And they're hurrying it up just a little bit by forcing people who were holdouts to sign up for it. And they were able to. I think that's the other interesting takeaway. You could have had a situation where the viewership would have dropped substantially, and they would have been like, it's just too much of a hurdle. It's too much of a hurdle. We can't get them to move over. But they were able to get them to move over. So I think they're like, nobody can claim that parents and grandparents simply can't use streaming services, because they clearly can. They were able to turn on the game. So I think that you're going to see the big streaming services feel emboldened by that. Most of the networks at this point are owned by, the only network I think that isn't owned is Fox, because, the Murdochs. Gareth, hey Gareth, thank you for gifting a membership. I don't believe any of the other networks are not owned, so they don't really care if they die out, I guess. Oh yeah, I wrote another question in my notes here. What pays more? Having subs and combating churn, or the ad revenue on a major game? I think a wild card game like this was a good thing to experiment with because it was right in the middle. It was small enough that they didn't have to feel too bad about losing the ad revenue, but it was big enough that it would force people to sign up for Peacock. So it's about finding those sweet spots to transition people over to the streaming service. Because now that you're signed up for Peacock, if you did a month subscription, you can watch the rest of the games there. The NFL is really trying to, as Danny said, they're experimenting for next season. Don't forget the NFL also was doing some exclusives with Amazon and on Apple. They're playing around. They're seeing where they have traction, where they can get money. For a long time, the NFL would share the love with the networks, and now it looks like they're going to share the love with the streaming services. But before, if you shared the love with the streaming service, it didn't cost the consumer any more money because the benefit was selling ads on the game. But if the NFL is selling to streaming services and sharing the love, that means they're asking you, instead of advertisers, to pay for all the other groups, to pay for Peacock, to pay for Amazon, for Prime Video, to pay for Apple TV. Although, who just said that? Somebody said they're still getting yeah, Mark. That's right, Mark. And some of these services sell ads. Have ads still. Peacock has an ad platform. In fact, as I told you, I think Peacock has the best ads of all the streaming platforms. So they're also getting ad revenue. But it doesn't mean you get to watch the streaming service for free. You get less ad. You pay less. The Bills scored another touchdown? My family is probably so sad right now. I'll have to call them after the stream and console them. All right, let's go to the Q&A. 10 minutes. You can ask me anything that you would like. Hold on. I'm a little spicy today, but some of you are a little spicy in the chat. All right, it's 5:36 until 5:46. You can ask me anything that you would like. I don't necessarily have to answer you, but you can try for it. Kayla says Angela Bassett's Oscar win should be on a performance for Tina Turner. This was given to shut up, to service the POC community from Black Panther backlash. She deserves more. You're preaching to the choir, Kayla. I totally agree with you. I feel, as I said before when I was covering it, I'm reminded of Peter O'Toole's famous comment when he got an honorary Oscar, and he at least got his during the show. Angela Bassett's wasn't even handed out during the telecast. But he said, he said, I wished I could have won it outright, but he was happy to at least have an Oscar. Keneal Lugo said, did you see Rachel Brosnahan's interview about Superman Legacy? I sure did. I'm really rooting for Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. I think here's how, I'll say it again, I've said it before. Here's how I feel about Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. I think creatively and as a fan, I'm going to love her in the role. But I have real concerns about how popular she'll be overall in the role. So my creative self and fan self is very excited about it. But when I put my business hat on, I get nervous. All right. B. Sponge says, what do you think about Soul crashing and burning at the box office? What did this mean for Turning Red and Luca? I don't think those movies ever were going to do well at the box office. You can watch them right now on Disney+. I think that Disney has a very, very tiny slate this year, and we're going to be talking about that in a video soon. And I think that they just really wanted to release something, so that's why they did it. And I think it is what it is. MM92 says, hi Grace, I'm still very on the fence if I want to go see Poor Things in theaters. Help me decide if I should or not. Well, you know what, MM92, I see a lot of people mentioning Saltburn. Why don't you go take a look at Saltburn? Also, I don't know how old you are. Just keep in mind that Saltburn is probably rated, I would say, a hard R, and Poor Things is, I would say, NC-17. So keep that in mind. But then I think if you can imagine like Saltburn times 5, then I think you should be okay. If you would be okay with an NC-17 movie, then I think you should try Poor Things because you might like it. And, it is winning a number of awards. Thank you, Angela. That's very sweet of you. See, Doc Hayes likes Saltburn. I didn't see Saltburn. Let's see. Marco says, what is your prediction for Furiosa's box office? If it makes it to 100 million, I'll be happy. Because I think the trailer just really underperformed. Let's see here. Jacob Knight says, any Marvel tea? Also, it's good to see you. It's good to see you too, Jacob. I think that some of the Marvel tea is a little out of control recently. I know that people who work for Disney on those films and Disney itself is very frustrated by it. And so I'm going to be, I think just in general, I've told you, I think scooping has gotten out of control. So I'm going to be a little careful, I think I've always been very careful about it, but I'm going to be even more careful because I think that it's out of control. Alex Ryan Music says, I literally just got and accepted a job offer during this stream after being laid off by Microsoft in September. Thanks for the company. Now we can keep you company at work, Alex. Oh, I'm so happy. I know that some other people who are BTT community members are also looking for work right now. So I'm so happy to hear your success story, and I hope that it is encouraging for other people to know that success is possible in this job market and that they just have to hang in there. And so, because look at you since September. So that's fantastic. I'm so happy for you, Alex. Gorilla, I don't know how you could say that Poor Things is an NC-17. That's nuts. It's got full frontal nudity of everybody. What kind of movies are you watching, Gorilla? You bought that candle from Saltburn, Mr. Magic? That's hilarious. There's a very sexy bath scene in the movie, and they made a bath water. Well, it's bath. I don't think it's actually from the bath water, but the idea is it's a bath water candle. That's great merchandising. Good for them. Oh, I'm glad you guys like my leopard shirt. Thanks, third player. Look at Kiamber. I'm halfway through Saltburn. It starts slow. That's really interesting that you're watching it that way, Kiamber. And that's one of the great things about streaming. You can watch it, you can consume it how you would like. You can take a break and go back to it. Hey, Chima. I'll be doing shout outs at the very, very end. Good luck, Kay Walton. Stick with it. Still looking for a job. Subasiso says, did you see the excellent True Detective ratings on par with White Lotus for HBO? I'm very happy about that because I saw a lot of people bad-mouthing it and it made me sad. I was like, wow, that did not go over well. And it made me feel sad because I thought one of the things I liked most about True Detective Season 4 was the depiction of those two women and that they were two kick-ass ladies. And I saw a lot of people being very negative about that. And it made me kind of sad because it was the same day that we talked about Barbie and the Pink movies. And a lot of people, I think, took the wrong message from that, saying, oh, see, women only like to be super feminine. And I was like, I think women are very versatile, and I would never put women in just one group. I think women love to be multifaceted, is the way I would say it. I think women love to get their girliness on, but I think also women like to be tough. And so I find myself, I feel some days I'm like Barbie, and I feel some days I'd like to think, hopefully, I'm like Jodie Foster's, police chief. So that to me is important. And so I'm glad to see that at least people tuned in. Let's see what the week 2 ratings are like. Robert Tatton, I did watch Society of the Snow, and I'm ashamed to say I had to watch the dub. I was watching it with my parents, and we were eating spaghetti, whole wheat spaghetti, and it was just too hard to eat and read. So even though we tried it, it was an amazing dub on Netflix's part. Usually I don't like to watch the dub, but it was just, and then they started us out on the dub for some reason. They didn't even ask us. Thank you, Dancing Dog 60. And so I'm sad to say I watched the dub. And I thought it was a great movie, but I thought that, I thought they changed perspective a little bit too much. Even though I do recommend it, it was extremely sad. It kind of put me in a funk for like 12 hours. But, although of course, understandably so, because it was so sad. But I thought J.A. Bayona's The Impossible was a little bit of a better movie. Damon says, the indie comic ElfQuest is being adapted into an animated series by Fox by the studio that animated the Spider-Verse. My thoughts are, I'm just hearing of that now, and I will watch it. Keneal says, Samara Weaving for Supergirl. I'm glad you brought that up. A lot of people are like, Supergirl's turning 21 in that comic, Grace. It's her 21st birthday, which is why she's getting drunk. Did you even read it? And I'm like, yeah, I read it when it came out a while ago, and I didn't remember that it was her 21st birthday. Excuse me, but I still stand by the fact that they drew her to look much older. And I don't know why the editor who was overseeing that comic didn't go to the artist and say, it's her 21st birthday, and you drew a 30-year-old woman. So, I mean, it is what it is. But I still will tell you, here's what I'll say to you. I loved the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow comic. I thought it was one of the best comic books I ever read. But I would never adapt it into a movie. Because if the way they're going, it's a 21-year-old woman, and then clearly a tween girl going to hunt in Thelma and Louise style, a misogynistic guy who's a real dirtbag, and that's the only male character in the movie. So if you think in today's environment that's going to make any money, you're kidding yourself. So even though, as I said, it's one of the best things I've ever read, it's certainly the best Supergirl story I ever read, I'd never make it into a movie in today's environment. Maybe a series. Probably an animated series, so I didn't have to spend too much money on it. That's a good idea. I'd love it to be a DC animated movie like the Lord of the Rings animated film. Nova Star says, hi Grace, January 7th was my birthday. I've been following you since 2008. Thanks Nova Star. That's when I just started. Nova Star, thank you for taking this journey with me. I'm wishing for the Fantastic Four casting soon. I hear you will be happy. Although we in the Scoop community keep hearing that it's coming any day now. And then we hear it again and again and again. So hopefully it is indeed soon. But happy birthday, Nova Star. That's so sweet. I like your avatar. You're clearly a Fantastic Four fan. Thank you, Robert Tatton. And then Deguy Ty says, do you know if the Batman 2 has started filming? It hasn't because it hasn't cast anything yet. When you start seeing casting announcements, then you know that they're going to start filming soon. I haven't heard anything, Zeke the Wise, about Brave and the Bold Batman casting. I suspect that unless that character is going to show up in Superman Legacy, they will not be casting them for a while. Because I think they're going to wait to see how Superman Legacy does before they go all in on James Gunn's Gunverse, which I would advise them to do. Dancing Dog 60 says, Grace, when do you think the Broccoli family will announce the new James Bond? They've been slow in picking a new Bond. I think they'll announce a director before they announce a Bond, because the director is supposed to get to help pick the Bond. Like Martin Campbell was the one who helped decide between Daniel Craig and Henry Cavill for Casino Royale. And as much as I would love to see Henry Cavill be Bond now, I think Daniel Craig was the right choice then. I think it would be fun to go full circle like that. Art Lover says, do you think Tom Cruise is a good actor? I can't get past the Scientology factor. It's a real hurdle, Art Lover, I'm not going to lie. But I still like Tom Cruise and I still like him as an actor. But it is weird that we just all decided to overlook it. All right, let me catch up here. All right. Asami says, hello, Grace. Thank you for today's stream. Who do you think is the most iconic superhero? I've seen so many different variations of lists, and I was wondering if you could do a poll. All right, Asami. Well, that's so hard. I can only pick 4. Let's do who's the most iconic DC superhero. Because I do think it would be DC, because they started comics first. And I won't tell you my answer until, because some people say I influence the poll, which I think is very nice for you to think that, so I don't want to do that. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and then I can't even think of another, who's like even a 4th category? I can't even think of another early superhero. Oh, Spider-Man. Oh, yeah. Okay. I think those are actually genuinely the 4. All right, hold on. I missed some super chats, I see, and we're a little over time. But I'm not doing anything today. I'll stick around a little longer. Hold on. Let me go back and catch these things that I missed. Antonio says, Grace, isn't Society of the Snow the same as Alive from 1993? What's the difference? Can you explain? Let me look up. I don't remember Alive very well, and I'll tell you. It is. But here's the difference. Alive was made by Hollywood and directed by Frank Marshall, Kathleen Kennedy's husband and frequent co-producer. So the difference is the Society of the Snow is actually told by somebody from South America, J.A. Bayona, and acted in the native language with, who's the cast on this? Yeah, with actors from that region. I mean, you got Ethan Hawke and Josh Hamilton. So I think it's more authentic. And I would certainly agree with that. Chris says, hey, Grace, new member here. Do you think that all the explicit nudity in movies is necessary to tell their stories? Or do you think implying something happened to be just as strong? That's a great question, Chris. I think everything I would take on a case-by-case basis. I mean, one of the people's favorite accusations is to say someone's a prude if they don't like something that, if somebody says they think something goes too far. But I watch HBO. I watched Blue Eye Samurai. I mean, I would say that to some degree that limits your audience for sure. And so from a commercial business perspective, I'm always like, PG-13 is obviously the sweet spot. But, I don't have a problem with Titanic. And I will say that I'm very happy that today it's more of an equal opportunity situation because, some people like to look at different types of nudity, and I'm glad that everybody gets to enjoy a little candy. So I think that's one of the best developments. But I think that you can tell when something's done gratuitously, and you can tell when sometimes it's necessary. So that to me, so that's how I feel about it. And I can tell you that I feel like, again, Poor Things we just crossed a line. Man on the Moon says, I got the Burn Book popcorn bucket. Oh, that's awesome. The Ghostbusters cup and bucket look fun. I know, I'm going to get those. Let's see here. Vincent, I am very excited for Stranger Things 5. Very, very much so. Dr. Long Monkey, I'm thinking of getting into YouTube shorts, but I don't want, I post a lot of videos, so I don't know if I want to do shorts as well. I don't want to do them just to do them. I'm looking for your super chat, Poke. I'm going. Where'd it go? Poke, if you did it a long time ago, I might not be able to find it. Yep, I'm at the ceiling. I'm sorry. That's the danger of going before I open up the chat. Oh, Emily says, as a therapist, I admire Alan Richardson for being so open about his bipolar disorder. That is great. I think talking about stuff is so important, in a healthy, constructive manner. I've learned so much by being someone who is online. I'm so beyond what my experiences and what I would be exposed to just in live in IRL in real life. So that's one of the things that I think is so wonderful about the development of the online space. I wish more people were online in a constructive manner instead of to spread hate. Like, wouldn't it be wonderful if everybody was online to broaden their horizons? Oh, man. All right, let me close this poll and then I'll tell you who I'm voting for. All right, you ready? All right. So it's very close. Superman and Batman are tied, 34% each. Spider-Man at 25% and Wonder Woman at just 4%. All right? So here's what my vote. My vote is not Batman, even though Batman is, of course, my favorite superhero of all time, Batman and the X-Men. I think Superman is the most iconic because he was the first. I think you have to go with Superman, and so much is based on him and spun off of him, and he is, I think, the most iconic superhero. But if you wanted to divide between DC and Marvel, I think Spider-Man is definitely the Superman of Marvel. And I think they're the two most iconic. But I do love Batman. I mean, I'm a Batman. Batman and X-Men are my jam. I love them so much. I love them so much. All right. So let's do shout outs. Oh, let me answer. Wait a minute. I'm only going to answer subscriber questions for I'm going to do 4 subscriber questions. Okay? Just because it's the subscriber stream and I want to make sure subscribers get a chance. Thank you, Natalie Aurora. I'm glad you like my look today. I try to change it up when I can. Hey, Sayadana. Joshua Vega says, hey, Grace, did you have fun watching Mean Girls the second time? I didn't get to watch it the second time this weekend because something happened, something came up, and so I'm going to try and go again this coming weekend. I felt really bad I missed the party. I was sad. M says, do you think that Mia Goth should speak out about the allegations against her? Well, I don't know what the situation is. That's why I haven't spoken out about it. I mean, those are some very serious accusations, and I saw some people who've worked with Mia Goth come out and say that they just can't believe that could possibly be true. And they're very serious allegations. So I think that Mia Goth is probably consulting with an attorney. And I'm glad that she's being careful about it. And I'm sure she should probably make some kind of statement soon. And I mean, it's still a holiday weekend here in the United States. So hopefully she says something, in the next 24 or 48 hours. Let's see here. Oh, precious 1Q. That's okay. I still see you. Maria Garcella says, Poor Things is a pretty good movie. The nudity does not negatively affect the film. That's a lot of people. Some people agree with you, Maria, for sure. Devin Howard says, do you think that Disney should bump up the release date for Elio now that the strikes are over? Yes. I would not sit on Elio. I really think they want to have Inside Out. I think they really want to have Inside Out too. But Elio looked great to me. I'm very curious to see what the Disney animated movie is for Thanksgiving. They still haven't announced that, which is weird. Maybe they'll end up putting Elio there. Naftali says, Grace, did you see that Beyonce is remaking Imitation of Life with Zendaya as the lead? Is that true? Let me see. Because it sounds too good to be true. I love that movie. Although I wonder how they would switch the story. That's from a long time ago. They're clearly not going to do it. That's clear. That's from a 2022 announcement. That project clearly didn't come to fruition, which is too bad. I love Imitation of Life. Yapdem, you're a member, but no, I don't have any tattoos. Bye, Alpaca Llama. I love your name. Logan says, since the X-Men are your favorite like me, your top three, and who do you think the villain for the MCU debut? Okay, off the top of my head, I think that it should be Magneto. I don't care if he's overexposed. Everyone's expecting Magneto. I actually am in favor of race bending Charles Xavier and Magneto to, I like the idea of, I don't think you could ever get Denzel Washington to do it, but I think Giancarlo Esposito is the perfect Professor X. I would be so happy if they did that. I just retweeted Giancarlo Esposito if someone caught him on the street and had a great interaction with him. I'm like, I love that man. I want everything for him. Because you already had Patrick Stewart as Professor X and James McAvoy. You can't get any better than those two. So, although I thought Ian Glenn, when I was casting the X-Men a long time ago for the MCU, because that's how long it's been since they got the ability to do them, I thought he might be good too. But I like Giancarlo Esposito for it. As for my favorite X-Men, it changes. Emma Frost, obviously, Wolverine, and then I'd have to go with Cyclops, because I sure like the Cyclops-Emma Frost affair. It was one of my favorite things I ever read. I used to really like Rogue, but they really ruined her character by giving her control over powers. Dylan Reese, I don't think Frozen 3 will be ready fast enough. Although, look how fast Inside Out 2 was ready, so maybe it will be. Michael Mark says, I'm starring in my high school's production of Fiddler on the Roof. That's so wonderful, Michael. That's congratulations. What's your relationship to Fiddler? I've seen it a few times, not recently, but of course, obviously, it's one of the greatest musicals on Broadway and in movies ever made. And you're going to have such a good time performing in that. Happy MLK Jr. weekend to you too, AdLad75. Oh, hey, Optimus Prime Ribs. I'm sorry you only caught the tail end of the stream. Let's see here. Earth is Ghetto. Thoughts on the new X-Men Comics Krakoa story. I'll tell you how I feel about that. I'm not reading X-Men Comics right now. When they get off of Krakoa, I'll pick them up again. But I liked when they started with Hickman, but they've just run that story into the ground a while ago. Oh, Alex Sink says, advice for starting a diet. Oh, as I said, the Mediterranean diet. It's done so, I've had such success on it myself. It not only is a good diet weight-wise, but I think health-wise as well. I think it's really catching on. It's an anti-inflammatory diet, and I just strongly recommend it. Look it up, the Mediterranean diet. No sugar. It's hard, but it just takes you a week to get into it, and I think you'll know when you're ready. But no sugar, no processed refined carbs, so really only whole wheat, and no processed foods. So nothing that is not made from scratch either by you or a restaurant, but not a restaurant that just heats stuff up for you. That's really how it works best. All right, let me do some shout outs because it's 6:01 already. An hour and a half stream. My goodness. Dylan says, can you do the Mediterranean diet if you're a vegan? I think so. It's mostly fruits, vegetables, and I think you could probably substitute beans as a lean protein. Thanks, Imran. It was my pleasure, and I'm so glad you were able to join the chat today as a subscriber. So this is the shout out section. Just tell me where you are, what you're doing, and I'm going to try and favor, sorry members, but I'm going to try and favor subscribers today because I can say hi to members all the time. That's right, Ilya, it's lots of salad. The food fund, it was my pleasure for doing a subscription stream today. RJ Morales says, thoughts on the use of Ozempic. Be very careful with Ozempic. please only use it if it's really for diabetic needs, because a lot of people are getting a horrible gastrointestinal problem that is not curable. Let's see here. Linzik says, I've been deep cleaning for the new year on a snowy DC day. Thank you for the company. My pleasure, Linzik. I'm so glad that your house is going to be so sparkly. You're going to love it. Elizabeth says, Gwyneth Paltrow loves the Mediterranean diet. She's always, I gotta say, sometimes she's a little cringe, but she is ahead of the curve on a lot of stuff. Jose is in Modesto, California, listening while at work, while Natalie Aurora is getting her dinner ready in Brazil. I love it. Natalie, didn't you used to be a member? You seem familiar with that name in Brazil. Let's see here. Chu Kai Hung says, hi from Malaysia, where it's 7 a.m. Oh, it's already Tuesday. Alexia says, bored hearing my hubby in lobbies. What are lobbies? Talking about the Iowa caucus. Yeah, it's a big day today. Well, I wonder how that's going as well. For those of you who don't know, it's the Iowa caucus is the first Republican primary in the United States, trying to pick the Republican candidate. Diego Robles says, hotel designer, what a cool job, saying hi in Los Angeles. I love commercial real estate. I'm just such a big fan of commercial real estate. And I love to people watch, so hotels and theme parks and restaurants and malls, I get a big kick out of those. I love business of all kinds, as you can see. Hey, Laura in Columbia. Hello. Gardening and growing is in Illinois, while Ian says, looking forward to the snow tonight in New York. That's right, big snowstorm, possibly tonight and tomorrow morning. Alex Sink says, cooking baked ziti in Washington, cheese and carbs. That's cool. You know, sometimes the Mediterranean diet is very intense. I say that, you know, if you're not doing it for health reasons, if you're just doing it to be healthy, I think you need to cheat probably once a week to maintain your sanity, or at least maybe once a month. It's very difficult to just do that all the time. But I would try and stay away from sugar as much as possible and processed foods as much as possible. But like a cheat might be like, say, a slice of pizza, even though it uses refined carbs. Hey, Wildgate Games in Florida. Andre Calderon says, eating French fries and chili, love your videos. Hey, hi to you. I love hearing you guys from around the globe. Well, look at that. Fumar Works is having a midnight snack in Kenya. I love it. Where in the world is BTT viewers? Right? I love it. Aaron Callow says, enjoying the live stream from my home country, Trinidad and Tobago. You guys have the really cool people at the Olympics, right? Isn't that your people in your country in the Parade of Nations? Oh, who's eating duck spring rolls? Alistair Campbell is eating duck spring rolls in freezing snowy Scotland. I love it. Andrew Adams says, thanks, Grace, for sharing the love with subscribers. My pleasure. Hey, Winterfang, chilling in my new apartment in Puerto Rico. Congrats on the move. Hey, Clara Kelly in Australia. Elizabeth A. says, my brother and I like your channel. That's awesome. I love that you and your brother watch together, Elizabeth. Let's see here. Clayton Connor says, opinions on Greek salad. You're eating it right now. I gotta tell you, I'm not a big Greek salad fan because I don't like olives and feta cheese. But I know it's popular. Junior Jangles, I'm glad you like my shirt. Thank you. I guess it is a little Catwoman-y. Oh, look, Dendesu is waking up for work in Japan. I've always wanted to go to Japan. While Staggervore is having a very late breakfast in New Jersey. It's dark outside, Staggervore. I love it. Let's see here. MD Rivera is tuning in from Honduras. I'm sorry, I don't quite know how to pronounce the name of your city. Elia is full of soup. Ooh, I'm having soup tonight, as you know. Rob's is taking a break from watching sports because I'm having a subscriber stream. Oh, that's awesome, Rob. Thank you so much. Well, Timmy says, Grace, you are a true professional. Best in the game. Best wishes from a depressive Sweden, Malmo. What's that mean? Don't feel bad, Timmy. And Marcus says, about to go to bed now. Got to get up early for work tomorrow. Lots of love from Austria. Yay. All right, I better get going. Perfect Jam says, getting ready for dinner in Wisconsin. Max Dinesh says, just tuning in, time to rewind. Let's go sledding tomorrow, Grace. Meet you on the slopes of of Midtown. Oh, so you're a fellow New Yorker. That's right. Central Park's going to be very beautiful tomorrow. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, you guys are great. I had a wonderful time with you. And if you are interested in the Emmys at all this evening, I will be live tweeting. They start in just 2 hours on Fox. And I'll see you tomorrow for the live stream to discuss. All right, everybody, bye. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye.